So as episode 2, me myself as Poplife, I'm just not me unto myself. I'm Poplife because of the greatness around me. It takes a lot to create such a person, and it takes a lot to maintain the mental and emotional of such a person as myself, and someone that I lean to for sound guidance, and also someone who challenges me to be better, because Lord knows my influences. So fuck all that dumb shit. Honest shit that needs to be called out. That's who my sister is. So I had to. She didn't have much time. So that's why I say, you know what? Before she relocates, let me have her come here for episode 2, my philosophy, and speak her truth. And we are going to now listen. And you say whatever you feel. What does the world need to hear? What do young people need to hear?
Right.
And what the fuck do we need to really be doing than the dumb shit that I see, I'm gonna say, everybody else doing?
Right. Oh, Poplife, you always do such a great introduction, and everything you're saying is resonating, because this is kind of what my study, what my praxis is kind of geared around. And I just appreciate the platforms that you have, the young people that you invest in. You got your community gang too, which is very important. But some of the things that Tupac is speaking to is exactly what I'm working towards doing more research about, because a lot of the criminal activity, the black on black crime that we see, that is a first indicator of people resisting. That's a first indicator. Criminal activity is great in terms of revolution because those people are more easily radicalized. So someone named George Jackson, he was a political prisoner. He was in the San Quentin prison and the Soledad prison. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to make sure I was on time because I do try to be respectful when Poplife gives me a chance to come and speak. So thank you I always got time for you.
Thank you.
George Jackson was in prison. He spent most of his adulthood in prison. He got locked up when he was 18 for stealing $70 from a gas station, allegedly. And this sparked him to start reading while he was in prison. He started reading Marx. He started reading Lenin. He started reading all of these people, that Ho Chi Minh, who all were part of the Communist Party and part of large revolutions and rebellions. And he discovered a lot like we are discovering now with the current climate, the current political climate, what's happening with our climate change. All of these things are manufactured. A lot of the things that we see that capitalism breeds is from colonialism. And now we're in a post-colonialism world where we are the people that have to decolonize. We are the people that have to unlearn all of these things that we've kind of been conditioned under through oppressive means. And so what George Jackson was realizing was that these people in prison, they were just as valuable and useful to the struggle and the revolutionary struggle and the mindset that you have to have than somebody that's free and on the outside. And so his whole mission was to make those connections, to make people realize that as political prisoners, this is what you can do on the inside. You can refuse, you can go on hunger strikes, you can throw things at the guard, all as one floor, all as one unit, to get better conditions. And then he would write those things, send it out into the free world, and the Black Panther Party would also kind of follow those tactics as well. And so that's kind of who, and by the way, it's Black August, if you didn't know.
Tell us about Black August.
Yes.
I had never heard of such.
Yes, so Black August was created by Black freedom fighters during the time of the 70s and 80s when the Black Panther Party was very huge, and political prisoners like George Jackson and his brother Jonathan Jackson, who tried to free 3 inmates while at the courthouse and was murdered, and also George Jackson was murdered in response as well, to kind of quell the rebellion that was happening within the prison walls. he basically took one for the team. But because of that, the freedom fighters felt that it was a need to commemorate in August, because all of the things that happened when they tried to take over the courthouse, which they successfully did. Wow. They took over the courthouse. They took the district attorney and the judge hostage. They were killed through this whole shootout, but they proved the point. The state is not about protecting the people. It's about protecting the property and the control thereof, and so that's what they were trying to expose, and that is what they did expose. But through that, there was also Nat Turner's rebellion back in the day happened in August.
No way.
Mm-hmm. So they started to connect the dots of also Assata Shakur, who is a refugee or is in asylum in Cuba, who was part of the Black Liberation Army. Also had some trials and issues happen that were in August. And so they felt like this was the month that really built momentum. So during Black August, most freedom fighters, revolutionaries, organizers, people who respect the folks that came before us, that really started us to start thinking of the world, reimagining a world in a different way, they come together in August and they do a series of activities such as studying. We do a lot of studying, praxis, we study theory, we study, a lot of people differ with what they study. Right now I'm studying just revolutionaries in general. I just want to learn more about them and get an insight into what were the things that sparked them to be a change and be as fearless as they were. There's also fasting. Some people fast from sunup to sundown, which I participate in as well. Some people go sober. Some people just choose to do the things that they feel commemorate. And as you're doing this, you're thinking through how the revolutionaries before you were doing this, how they handled organizing together. And that's really what the whole mission of Black August is, to everybody all over the world who are part of this revolutionary struggle. They know that we are in this together and we are consciously fighting together. And so that's kind of what Black August is about. So you also train, there's physical activity. So you're supposed to kind of be exercising and training for the revolution and getting all of those things prepared. Because at the end of the day, most of the revolutionaries, and what makes you a revolutionary is you believe in war. Yes, you believe in war, because war has already been declared. That is what the state does. That is what our carceral logic, what we come from, our government, it is built on war. I am applying these things, and so I made a few intentions that I wrote at the beginning of the year, and I am meeting those things, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to divest. The revolution is not legal. The revolution is not going to be something that is supported by the government ever, But what we want to do is come out on the other side of it with the people knowing their power. And so that's kind of what I have felt. I have always felt an incredible amount of faith, an incredible amount of hope, and an incredible amount of personal power. And now it's about building containers and joining these organizations that have been able to do that and have been doing this for years. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be getting more active. I'm actually excited that Poplife sees me as revolutionaries already. Because that's my hope, is that people don't even approach me unless they want to have these conversations. And so a lot of the things that I talk about are very challenging. A lot of the things that I talk about feel like attacks, and I have to constantly remind people I am attacking a system. It is not you. But these people who run these systems, including us that are part of these systems, we're the ones that keep the system going. And so
gatekeepers.
Exactly. And so we have to see that, we have to recognize that, and then we have to follow through on tactics to understand how to organize and how to mobilize within these systems and outside.